Hello, dear friends. This is lesson number 6 in the series of Shakespearean Plays, and today we shall discuss A Midsummer Night's Dream. This is a comedy, and it was performed in the same year in which the play Romeo and Juliet was performed. So far as my understanding is concerned, I believe that this is the play where we have the most number of characters in Shakespearean plays. So there are interconnected subplots as well. So we shall start our discussion about this play. So first, in the beginning, we are told that there is marriage celebration. Duke of Athens, the name is Theseus, and there is Amazon Queen, the name is Hippolyta. So there is a marriage celebration, and we have Duke of Athens, Theseus, and Queen, Amazon Queen, that is Hippolyta. Now, in the main plot line, we have one name, that is Hermia. She is the heroine, Hermia, and she is in love with Lysander. Lysander is also a fellow from the same country, and then her father. Whose father? Hermia's father, that is Aegeus. He wants to marry her to Demetrius. Now, there is a love triangle sort of thing. In fact, there are 4 people involved in that sort of a interconnected relationship. So, first, Hermia is in love with Lysander, but her father wants to marry her to Demetrius. Now, there comes another name, that is Helena. She is best friend of Hermia, and she is after Demetrius. So one simple line we can take as Hermia is in love with Lysander. Lysander is also in love with her. That is their mutual love. But Demetrius, he wants to marry her. He is also after her. But there is one more character, that is Helena. She wants to marry Demetrius, and she is a friend of Hermia. And one more thing, that earlier there was a love affair between Helena and Demetrius. But when Demetrius saw that there is a rich man, Aegeus, and he has a daughter, so he was expecting some wealth to be given in terms of dowry. So that is why now Demetrius is breaking his relationship with Helena, and now he is turning towards Hermia. But Helena is still after him. Now Aegeus, he goes to the Duke and invokes the Athenian law. What is the Athenian law? If a daughter refuses to marry according to the choice of her father, if she refuses, then she is exiled or she is given death sentence. This is the Athenian law. So the Duke also forces her that she should marry according to the will of her father. But she is not interested in Demetrius at all. Lysander too comes in the court, and he says that Demetrius is not a good person, or rather he is a fickle in love. He was earlier engaged to Helena. Now he has broken the relationship with her only to marry a rich, wealthy daughter. So as Helena is betrayed by Demetrius, in the future there is a possibility that Demetrius also betray Hermia. So he in some way warning the Duke and also the father Aegeus. But the father and the Duke, they are unmoved. They remain strict to the same decision that Hermia should marry according to her father's will. Otherwise, she will be punished. And one more thing, in the beginning of the play, I told you that the celebrations are going for the marriage of Duke of Athens, that is Theseus himself, and the Amazon Queen, that is Hippolyta. So Duke is saying that before his marriage ceremony is performed, this matter should be settled. So near future the marriage is to be performed between the Duke and the Queen. Now, on the other hand, Lysander, he plans to elope with Hermia. Actually, outside Athens, there is his aunt, Lysander's aunt. She is living there, she is childless, and he wants that they should elope there and they can marry easily outside Athens. Hermia agrees, and Hermia shares this plan with Helena as well. Here, Hermia says that Helena can try her best to win the love of Demetrius. But Helena, being a little foolish, she tells the plan to Demetrius that Hermia and Lysander, they are eloping, they are going away from Athens, they are going into the wood, and Demetrius, he too follows them, and then Helena is also after Demetrius. So all the four people now, Hermia and Lysander and then Helena and Demetrius, they are in the woods, in the forest. So this is the main plot line, and then we have the first subplot. Actually, in the forest there is a man, Peter Quince. Peter Quince, the important name, he is a carpenter, and he has written a play. So in this play we have a play within this play, and he has written a play. The name is The Most Lamentable Comedy and the Most Cruel Death of Pyramus and Thisbe. So this is a long title. This is a play written by Peter Quince. In this play, and there are several players or the actors. In fact, they are just common people. They are workers, they are laborers, and they will perform in the play. So as Peter Quince is a carpenter, the same way we have the other people, they are also ordinary ones. They are not the professional actors. Among them, there are the names like Nick Bottom, he is a weaver. Then we have Francis Flute, he is a bellow mender. And then Robin Starveling, he is a tailor. Tom Snout, a tinker. And Snug, he is a joiner. So all these people, they represent a working class. You can check out what is the role of a weaver, what is the role of a bellow mender, what is the role of a tailor, tinker, and a joiner. So several people from the working class are there to perform that play, and this play is supposed to be performed for the wedding of the king, the duke, that is Theseus, and the queen Hippolyta. Now about this play, Pyramus and Thisbe, this is based on Ovid's Metamorphoses. Remember Ovid's Metamorphoses? Even Romeo and Juliet, as we have, the same way this play is. The two lovers are there. Actually, what happens in the main plot line, I tell you just for introduction. Pyramus and Thisbe, the hero, the male character, that is Pyramus, and Thisbe is the female character. So in the forest, Thisbe, she is attacked by a lion, and her cloak gown, it was torn into pieces by the lion. And when later Pyramus comes into the forest and he finds her clothes torn into pieces, he realizes that she is probably killed by the lion. So he commits suicide. And then Thisbe returns to the same scene, and she finds that her love interest Pyramus is killed. She also commits suicide. So that sort of a plot is there in this Pyramus and Thisbe. Now, Peter Quince, who is the author of this play, he tells the other people, those workers, the laborers, that what role they should perform in the play. Now, Peter Quince, he gives the role of Pyramus to Nick Bottom. This is the name to be remembered. Pyramus and Thisbe, it is given the space in this play only to create a fun, because it is an absurd sort of play. It is a comic play. Nothing more significance it has in this play. And parallel to this subplot, we have one more plot, and in that plot we have Oberon. He is the king of fairies, and there is Titania. She is the queen of fairies. And then there is a servant, Puck. He is also given the name Robin Goodfellow. So they are in this forest, and Oberon and the fairy queen Titania, they have a comic quarrel. So there is some sort of a dispute between them, and she has taken a little Indian prince as her attendant. So now she is keeping a boy as a prince with her to entertain her, and Oberon wants to keep that prince as a knight for himself, but Titania refuses. Pretty simple. There is dispute between the king Oberon and Titania, and she has kept an Indian prince. The name is given the same. I do not know why they are mentioning Indian prince. So that prince is with her, but the king Oberon, he wants to keep the prince with him. And one more thing, why there is a dispute between them. Oberon accuses Titania that she loves the king Theseus, and same way Titania accuses the king Oberon that he loves Hippolyta. Remember these two names which were mentioned in the beginning. So there is another subplot we have to deal with it. And then what happens? Oberon sends the servant Puck to go and find a white and purple flower. White and purple flower, which is also called as love in idleness. Love in idleness. IDLENESS. And this flower's juice, the juice of this flower is rubbed on someone's eyelids if someone is sleeping, and if you smear the juice on that person's eyelids, and when that person wakes up and he opens the eyes, whoever he sees, any living being, whether male or female, he will immediately fall in love with that person. So that sort of a magic is there in that juice. So Oberon is planning that he will use that juice to entertain, or to ridicule, I should say, Titania. And Oberon is intended to do this. Why? Because he wants to have that Indian prince. That is why he has decided to ridicule the Queen Titania. Anyway, in the forest now, the main plot, we are coming back to that again. We have Helena. She's after Demetrius, remember? But Demetrius is always rebuffing her. He is not having any sort of interest in her. When Oberon hears their conversation, he orders Puck to spread some sort of a magical juice on Demetrius' eyelids. And what happened? Puck, by mistake, he does this on Lysander's eyes. Now Lysander is sleeping, and on his eyelids the same juice is smeared. And as soon as Helena comes there and she wakes him up, and Lysander falls in love with her. Now it is some sort of a cross connection. Somehow Helena feels that maybe Lysander is playing a trick so that she might get Demetrius' love back. Anyway, when Hermia, she does not find where Lysander is. So Hermia, she is a bit concerned because she haven't seen Lysander. On the other hand, Lysander and Helena both are away. Now, to correct the mistake, Oberon again orders Puck to put the juice on the eyelids of Demetrius. And now, as soon as Helena wakes him up, now Demetrius falls in love with her. Now, both men, Lysander and Demetrius, both are after Helena. When Hermia goes to Lysander, he rejects her, and Hermia blames Helena for stealing her love. Now you understand that both of the men, they are after Helena, and Lysander is rejecting Hermia only because he is under the impression, under the control of that magical juice. And what goes on further? We see Lysander and Demetrius both are ready to go for a duel to prove their love for Helena. And somehow, again, Oberon, the king of fairies, he gets a chance to remove the magical impression of the juice from Lysander's eyes. So now we see the things are getting settled. And meanwhile, we see the appearances of the players, of the laborers who are supposed to play the play Pyramus and Thisbe. Actually, they are rehearsing all these fool characters. They are rehearsing and they are creating absurd things on the stage. Like someone is playing the role of a lion, someone is playing the role of a wall, of moonlight. So such absurd roles they are rehearsing. Now one more interesting things happen, that Puck, with that magical power again, transformed Nick Bottom's head into a donkey. Now that character Nick Bottom, who is supposed to play the role of Pyramus, he has become a donkey by the head. And when others sees him on the stage, they become perplexed. Apart from Nick Bottom, everyone sees him as a donkey, but Nick Bottom, he is enjoying and singing. And one more thing Puck does, that he spread juice on Titania's eyes. Now, as soon as she sees Nick Bottom with the donkey face, she falls in love with him. Eventually, Titania, she agrees to give the prince back to him, and then the magical impression is removed, and even the head of donkey, that is also removed, and now Nick Bottom is a normal man. And one more time we see that Puck applying the same juice on Lysander's eyes only to make Lysander love Hermia again. And by this we see everything get settled. Now both the pair, Demetrius is in love with Helena, and Lysander is in love with Hermia. Now these fairies, Puck, Oberon and Titania, all these fairies, they disappear, and by the morning it is seen that everything is well settled. The next day, Duke and the Queen, they arrive in the forest for hunting. And even these people, these four people, Lysander, Hermia, Helena and Demetrius, they do not remember what happened the previous night. So everything they have forgotten. Maybe it was the just impact of that magical juice, that they do not remember what happened last night to them. It was much like a dream. Now, 3 marriages are supposed to take place. One is of the Duke and the Queen, and other, that is the 2 pair, Lysander and Hermia, and then Demetrius and Helena. In Athens now, the play Pyramus and Thisbe, it is supposed to be performed. And the performance is quite rude, ridiculous and absurd, that everyone is just laughing at them. And those fairies again enter. The fairies, Oberon, Titania and Puck, they enter and they bless the 3 couple for their happily married life. So that is how we see the end of this play. So different subplots are there, so we have to remember just subplots, not the names of each and every character. 4 characters are enough: Lysander, Helena, Hermia, and Demetrius, the king Theseus, and queen Hippolyta. And the other names, the important one is Peter Quince. He is the author of the play that we have in this play. And then we have the name Nick Bottom. That is important character because his head is replaced with the head of donkey. Now, in the previous year, there have been several questions, not several, only a few questions I should say. First, that is simple question that several options were given, and it was asked that in which of the Shakespearean plays we have the theme of sexual possessions, and the answer is A Midsummer's Dream. There were other options like Coriolanus, Henry IV Part 1, and Julius Caesar, and the last option was A Midsummer Night's Dream. So in this play we have the queen, the fairy queen. She is having Indian prince with her, so this might represent the sexual possession. The same way we can also see that Demetrius is after Hermia. This could also represent the sexual possession. And under the impression of that magical juice, we see that one is falling in love with other. Anyway, apart from this, there was one confusing question. In fact, that was having some contradiction. Simple question was that we have to choose that among the given options that which play follow the concept of play within the play. Now you have seen the whole story of this play. Do you see there is a play within the play? Of course there is. But in the year 2021 there were options like Taming of the Shrew. Even when we were discussing this play, Taming of the Shrew, I told you that. So Taming of the Shrew, Midsummer Night's Dream, Love's Labour's Lost, and then Comedy of Errors. Comedy of Errors we have done. There is no play within that play. But in Taming of the Shrew and also in this play, we see the another play within this play. But the answer was only the Taming of Shrew. I do not know why this play is not given among the right answers. And one more time there was the same question, but the options were different now. That which play has the concept of play within the play? The options were Hamlet. In Hamlet we have play within the play. Women Beware Women. That is a play written by Thomas Middleton. Pretty soon we shall discuss this playwright as well. Apart from this, the option was Spanish Tragedy, and the last option was Midsummer Night's Dream. So now 3 plays: Hamlet, Spanish Tragedy, Midsummer Night's Dream. All these 3 plays, they are having play within the play. But the question was that which of these plays is not having the concept of play within the play. At that time this question was cancelled, so the marks was given to everyone. The main thing that is worth consideration, that why this play is not considered a play within the play, there may be probably one fact that the play that we have within this play that does not have the impact on the whole of the play. So that is all we have for this lesson. So thanks a lot for watching this lesson, and have a great day.